It feels like it's too easy right now. This was high on symbolism, short on details, and there's got to be at least one catch.
Well, it's a long road ahead. That's the big catch. So it's something to be excited about, good for cautious optimism. It's something very important to the Korean people. There's a lot of enthusiasm, as I've heard from Seoul today. So let's see how it plays through.
Just from your perspective, how surreal were the images? Because we're used to these Kim Jong-un photos that are stills, where he's usually looking at a rocket or something, or some factory, and then seeing him mill about and chat with people. Just what was your takeaway from that?
Well, it was mesmerizing. It certainly grabbed the attention of the South Korean public as well as some of the international community. And you saw someone different. You saw someone more animated. He may be more cosmopolitan than people allow. He was a bit self-deprecating. He seemed to have a chemistry with South Korean President Moon Jae-in. This is something different. Young president or young leader in North Korea with an accomplished younger president in South Korea.
One community that did not see these images was North Korea. And this was not broadcast on their national television. I'm just wondering, first of all, whether you expect any kind of opening up and reunification of families in North and South Korea as a result of this. And second, does this give Kim Jong-un an upper hand in some ways, some legitimacy that he didn't previously have heading into the negotiations with President Trump?
Yeah, well, on the latter point, that's what he's looking for. He wants legitimacy on the global stage. He wants economic easing. He wants to back off on the sanctions so that he can strike at modernization, which is the second part of his Byung-chun policy. The first was the weaponry. So he wants to do that to gain viability and survivability. But it's a new stake. He's trying to present himself in a different way than the father and the grandfather. And that's what Moon Jae-in, the South Korean president, picked up on. That's what Donald Trump was applauding today in his tweet about Korea War to end. And that's something that may be in the offing. It is a long road, but ending that war, ending that conflict, replacing the armistice with a treaty is something that at this point, with the new political will, may just happen.
All right, so it's a long road ahead. What are the next 8, 10, 20 steps that need to be taken? Who reaches out first, or is that all agreed upon at this point and it's just perfunctory? Well,
all of this is still a big lead up, Scarlett, to the early June meeting, likely early June now, meeting between the U.S. president.
But even before we get there, North Korea and South Korea still need to do more work as well, no?
Right, so they'll continue to be in consultation. There's a tremendous amount ahead in terms of how you de-escalate tension. So it's easing around the DMZ, it's setting up legation, it's legations representative offices there at the DMZ, and it's preparing an exchange back. The South Korean leader will visit North Korea. So a lot of things in the offing. It's a very multifaceted process to try to strike at better confidence and a better easing of tensions.
There were inter-Korean summits in 2000 and 2007. So how different and how similar is that?
Oh, this is starkly different in many ways. This president learned as the chief of staff to the president who met the second time, No Moo-yeon, and the first president, Kim Dae-jung. They were older at the time, and they were meeting with Kim Jong-il, who frankly was toward the end of his life. This is a young North Korean leader meeting with a populist South Korean president. There's a new vibe, and there's been a mind shift, North and South, among the publics. New millennial impact.
Just for what it's worth, my favorite chart today pointing out that 2000-2007 previous market peaks, in case, I believe there's some symbolism there. Just that was
You're
my
going to
chart
continue with the symbolism. I'm just wondering, Moon Jae-in, the South Korean leader, I'm just wondering how popular he is and how popular the moves that he made today are with South Korea.
Yeah, so he enjoys about 70% approval rating on the summit process. It's probably actually higher today. There's a lot of enthusiasm in Korea for this today. But there are opponents. There's a conservative faction, and they're older South Koreans who are concerned that there will be too much given away in this process. But Moon is responding to a general popular feeling of, hey, we'd want gradual integration. And that's where this change in mindset is coming into play.
All right, so denuclearization is what everyone's aiming for here. Maybe I'm jumping ahead, I probably am, but how far away are we from reunification?
Oh, so that's way off. And you didn't hear reunification or unification spoken of just explicitly. The idea of ending the conflict, ending the war, moving to a peace regime, then denuclearization, top of the U.S. chart, is something that will be a long process, multifaceted. It will be complex, much more. They've watched Libya, meeting the North Koreans, so they're distrustful. And there's a huge trust deficit there between the United States and North Korea. But with South Korea managing that part of the process and the strength of the U.S. South Korean alliance, it's something to go forward with. So a lot going on political, economic, and security fronts, and this is the beginning of a process. And if Kim Jong-un and Trump meet, that's the beginning of another process.